Oops. Let's see. Okay. Um, okay, everyone. Welcome to another design review. This one is about graphics and visualization. Hold on 1 second while I get myself organized here, if I can. Okay. All right. Let's start off here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get. It's very weird. All right. Okay. We are starting off talking about this mesh style for array plot and trying to get so what are we doing here? Mesh
Okay,
through.
so let me explain what this is, because this is a like big, massive table. Um, to get lots of examples and lots of cases. So we've got small number of rows and relatively decent number of up through a decent number of rows and columns. We have um, three sets of colors for every size. Um, so the black and white, the red and blue two color, and like a red, green, yellow, like four or five color, including white.
Okay.
We also have different densities of the colors. And so like, for example, there, if you look at like the black and white, you see that we have white dominant, even mix, black dominant. And similarly for the
Okay, I
colors.
understand. So
Yep.
where is the stuff for mesh arrow automatic?
So mesh arrow automatic is so mesh true and mesh automatic are each their own subsection.
Okay, all right, fine.
So
So mesh automatic. So where are things with really high density, many, many cells, like 5 times the number of cells here?
I mean, in those cases, mesh automatic is going to be gone.
Well,
I
so
mean,
even here it's gone. Why is it gone here and not here? Why isn't it fading out? I don't understand why it
it,
would have a distinct, because think about making an array of plots where one of them looks like this and one of them looks like this. It's going to look terrible.
so the fade out, at 50, it's completely gone, and that bottom one is 50
50 what?
rows or columns.
Okay, but look, it's just not going to work. This compared to this doesn't work, right? This I think is a little bit too dark, and this is just gone completely. This should have, I mean, it just isn't going to work, right? You've got to think about this
Right,
case.
right. I mean, so as to recall, this version of the discussion originally, showed up because stuff wasn't showing up well enough for you in some
I
cases.
know in
Yeah,
the
so
very thin cases, right?
yes. Well, I mean, it was thin cases and it was also very
Oh, I
colorful
just
cases
realized that that
where
thing does have some grid. It's just not dark enough. Now, maybe I should go back to 100% here, at least locally. No, it
I
just
mean, it's
doesn't
going to be
work.
even fainter
These
than.
two just aren't close. They need to look. What I'd
So,
like
so,
to
so it
see is
needs
a
to be,
continuous.
more gradual,
Yes,
for
yes,
your
because
liking.
think
Okay.
about the case where you're making a table that has multiple sizes in it. See what I'm saying? There cannot be a discontinuity. See, that's about the right density for that size. That looks pretty reasonable to me. And that's too light.
And that looks reasonable in that one and the dark one to its right.
I think so.
Okay.
Brett, this is using my algorithm, right? What
Yes.
I used? Okay. Yeah, it
Yep.
can be adjusted. So,
Okay.
So we'll stretch out the fade out period.
Yes. And also, that's okay. That's not.
yep. Okay.
But when you
I
get
feel like there's
higher
almost this
density of that,
asymmetry to it or something somehow.
look, if it was at that density, then you absolutely do not want a mesh, right? At
Mhm.
some point here, when it's there, you want a mesh, right? I mean, you do have it so that it's set up to depend on the absolute size of the squares, yes?
No, it's set up on.
But I don't think
I
that's
mean,
going to
the
work.
mesh. Excuse me. The mesh lines have, I think, a fixed thickness,
Okay.
and so we're changing the color. I mean, so if we want, we can change the thickness as well, which
I don't
will
think that's going
also
to work.
factor
The
into
thickness will
it.
fall apart.
Yeah, the thickness doesn't usually. There's not
Yeah,
much
right.
adjustment
The,
to
the,
be
the
done.
problem is, by the time the thickness is 2 pixels and the actual squares are 2 pixels, you're toast.
Yeah. The only thing that's changing is the opacity in this, and I can adjust this so it will
Okay.
make that one look better. But it does. What happens is the way it's got set now, when it gets to a 30 by 30 array plot, it disappears. But
Oh,
it'll
is it
go
30
all the
by
way.
30?
It's 30 by 30, but it'll go all the way out to for a single line. It'll go to 164. But I can change all that, make it go out as far as I
All right.
want.
Just let's see a variation where we go to higher densities. I mean, and where we have, different sizes next to each other. And let's see that looks reasonable.
Okay.
Right. I mean, if something is fading out, you can always put one small one next to a big one, and there's going to be potentially some discontinuity.
I
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
know. If it's
I'm
very
just
small
saying that.
versus very big, I understand that.
Right.
But I mean, I think it should depend on the absolute size of the pixels. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. So
Why
this
the gaps
was
around the
an
vertex
email that
shapes?
you
I thought that had been answered.
that's you skipped over the first thing. The active section is things that we have discussed and people are working on.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So yes, we did
Okay.
discuss that last
Okay,
week
sorry.
with
Showing
Charles.
different styles with different curves. Okay. Okay. Are we deprecating? Okay, so when you say plot layout arrow column, right? What
Right,
I'm trying
and
to
say
do,
list plot or something like that. Yes.
yes, what I'm trying to do is I've got multiple, let's say I say list plot, or actually just say plot, by the way, this evaluate thing inside plot is something we have to look at. Let's say sin x, sin nx. Okay. Well, I don't know whether I should flatten it or not.
I was really curious to what was going to happen without the flatten.
Well, let's see. Okay, now oh, maybe it did what I want in this case. Not documented, by the way.
I mean, until
I
you typed that input, I didn't think this was going to work.
Yeah,
With the
okay.
list case and do multiple curves per panel. But I mean, that may just be because I tend to think of it as, in terms of like list plot where we don't have a data spec that would allow this.
Oh, that
Right.
doesn't
So
work.
that plot style is not getting in there.
That's wrong. Okay, are we keeping plot layout?
yes.
I think we're keeping plot layout.
Okay, then we got to
And
make it
a
work.
lot of cases you won't need it because you'll be using plot grid.
Okay, but then stuff like this needs to work.
Right.
And you're saying that the list plot version of this just doesn't stand a chance. Is that correct? So if I do this and I say here, instead of that, I say this, and then I say table, x05.1. What the hell?
I think you have an extra level of list somewhere, and so you're getting.
Well, I do have an extra level of list, yes. Oh, I see. I probably want to do the table the other way around.
Right. Okay.
It's entertaining.
I can't tell quite what it's doing, but
Well, I mean, what it's doing, presumably.
right. So if you take out the standard red, it's well, no. I mean, I know what the points are. What I was expecting. I'm just was trying to figure out which colors it was using.
Why
Right.
is
I
it
mean,
using the
you
red?
essentially gave it a bunch of XY pairs.
Yeah, and why is it using the second plot style?
Because it's confused and thinks it's a single style being used for all of those.
All right. Basic bottom line, multiple, what's its, got to figure out how to get that to work.
Right. And what I mentioned in the other notebook is, and I haven't come up with a concrete idea for this yet, is the new association syntax for plot style.
Yes.
Potentially comes into play here somehow.
I mean, there's several, we've identified several important use cases that need to be taken care of for those plot layout cases. And that includes plot names. You need to sort of be able to label the individual plots, what the heck it is. You need to be able to style them. You need to be able to change aspect ratio, and we should be better at adaptive aspect ratios when we do many in a column like this. There are many things. There's not just one thing. There's many things.
I'm going to make the following statement. I think that the ship is sinking and you have to pump more and more water out of it in getting the plot layout thing, because plot layout is really just saying, I've got some data, I've got one data model, I'm going to arrange in a different way. It's like, do you want to stack your histogram or do you want to combine your histograms?
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't think it has that much flexibility. And I think as soon as you start saying, let's address every piece separately, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, let's have different filling for different levels in the
No, but we
column.
looked at sort of technical use cases, like for instance, when you do system models, you have many signals. You do control systems, you have many signals. You solve systems of ODEs, you have many signals. In that case, having one plot command is incredibly flexible and practical, as opposed to do like a little program. Generate them in a table, put them together. You can do that
right?
when you
would it be better to use plot grid?
No, I mean that's what I mean. Plot grid is doing them separately. And if you want to do something that's more elaborate, use plot grid. So I think,
but then we have to have the contract for this.
Okay. Yeah. I think by the time that you're getting into things like, I want different scaling functions or different units or those sorts of things on for each curve, you're in plot grid territory.
Exactly.
If it's just styles and some basic labels, I think plot layout is fine.
No, but how about we have the following point of view? Okay. Plot layout, every plot is identical. If you want something other than that, you've got to use something different.
What do you mean everything is identical?
Well, you can't there's have no multi-panel plot style specification.
Oh.
Right.
Right. I mean, so in Steven's case, saying that plot style standard blue, standard red, can turn those curves red and blue, but that's about it. You can't go any deeper and have blue and red curves in the top panel and other colors further down.
Does the plot style refer to the bottom level that is in every panel, or does it refer to different panels? Right? Probably the rule is it has to refer to every panel separately, but that is somewhat inconsistent with if I take this, right, and I remove the plot layout. See, this is not right. This is not right, guys. See that? Now, I don't know what's happening, whether it's cyclic or
It's
what's
cyclic. Always has been.
okay. Well, then if it's, I see. Well, cyclic is maybe not the worst thing then, but then what happens if I say, uh, green or something here, and then up here I say green, it's probably ignored. But in other words, it's got to be consistent. If I remove the plot layout, it's got to do something, in other words, it's okay if it's like stacking and you're just teasing apart the scales basically. But anything else that changes is not okay.
Right. Okay. So if you make a copy of that top plot
Yeah.
and reduce it down to just like sine and x instead of the sine and cosine pair. I mean, you can leave the table, just only have one thing in the table. Right. So what you're saying is if you had plot style goes to red, blue, green, one of them would be red, one of them would be blue, and one
No,
of
I
them would
think
be
not. I think that's
green.
not the correct. Well, I don't know.
Well, because that would then be consistent with the non-layout case.
Yeah, but that's what I agree. That's what we have to determine is how that works. Whoops, what am I doing here? I didn't mean that. I meant to remove this.
And
Yeah,
stick
see,
a
that's
standard green
wacky.
in there as well, just for.
Yeah, okay. But that's wacky, right? That's wacky.
But you could also, I mean, it is somewhat wacky,
It's
but you
more
could all,
useful to have them be all identical, the columned plots be all identical, I think. But this is wacky in terms of the design. That's wacky in terms of the design.
Right. I mean, and I think.
but you also don't have a choice. If they're all in the same panel, how are you going to tell them apart? By color? If they're all blue? I mean, you
No, I
need,
understand. I understand. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
right.
But then if you want to label the plots, you want sort of the top level thing labeled. You don't want three labels in the same. If I say, if I say here, plot label, it's probably going to apply to the whole thing, right?
I mean, plot label always applies to the whole thing. You want plot
Okay.
labels, and it's probably also going to ignore it just like it's ignoring the plot style.
What's plot labels plural? What does that mean? What is plot labels plural?
That is per curve labels.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. That's for a multi-curve. So, and
Right.
if I
So
do that
if you
down
bring that
here,
plot labels down to your non-layout version.
see, nice. I should have used that a bunch of things. Anyway, I don't think this is going to work. I think this is a hackalola, and I think it's going to cause all kinds of problems. And I don't know how to do, either
I
you
think
have to
that,
define
there's
certain.
a lot of things that we did, original plot capabilities in version 6. There was a question of how many things are custom per, because we did multifunction, multi-data use cases
Yes,
generally, right? Which ones can go out to all the multiple functions, multiple data, and which things do you do separately and combine with show? And I think it's the same thing here. We do to a certain level, and then if you want beyond that, you do separate plots and combine with plot grid.
that's fine. But the behavior has to be somewhat consistent.
Agreed.
I mean, and I think, what you outlined as a possibility is a good approach. Is
Which
that,
one? That as you remove it, it doesn't change much?
yes,
I think
so
that's not useful. I think that the useful way to do it is to have it drill down, unfortunately. In other words, I don't think you want red, green, and blue separate panels. I think you want each panel having red, green, and blue curves.
We haven't, I mean, we haven't formally supported deeper levels than one. You can't, um, there is sort of various workarounds because some functions, like interpolating function, can return vector valued stuff. It's been there for a while. And actually, I guess we have increasing number of functions that are vector valued.
But that's formally, it's not really a supported thing. If you read the documentation for plot,
Yeah.
we don't even talk about it. You know,
I
deeper
understand, but this is
levels.
not vector valued. This is a different thing. This
Well,
is
the case that you did, the table of lists was vector valued. You know, if you think of it
fine.
as a one level list, then each one was a vector, right?
Okay, but then if you don't do that, there's no way of having more than a single curve in each panel of a plot.
Right.
Which, to be honest, is
Unless
what I expected.
right.
And so the one where
Unless
you got two curves per panel
unless
surprised me.
unless we sort of expand the syntax, but I don't, you know, one could have a sparse syntax and say what goes in what panel type thing. But then I think
That's plot
that's
grid territory, I
right.
think.
Then you're on a
Yeah.
slippery slope. So that's
Right, but I think that the thing where it's just one curve per panel, oh boy, I think it's really annoying. I mean, as a user of this, I've had things which one curve per panel, and then it's, oh, I want to add some annotation. Oh gosh, I can't do that. I have to redo it completely.
Right.
That's not good. That's why I'm not a big fan of plot layout.
I I think for a lot of use cases, it will be the direct path, super easy to use as opposed to kind of a program. I mean, it's
Yeah.
when you're in plot grid territory, you're gonna do a couple of separate stages for sure. You're
All right,
gonna do it.
let's wait until plot grid is more
Yeah, I think that's the
mature.
right thing. That's what we wanted to do.
But I mean,
We've started to
just
identify and try to fix up the old thing, but I think that the
right,
better engine
just
is
try to identify the inconsistencies here, so we know what they are and we know which side we're going to go on them.
Mhm.
But we won't know for sure until we've gone plot grid.
But just doing a few applications identified a bunch of things that we do have to very immediately address, as the three that I mentioned was those.
Okay. All right. What do we need to is there more stuff we need to go over? I'd
I
actually
don't
like
think there's a
to
lot that we need to go over at the moment. I mean, we have other reviews coming up that will cover more things in more depth.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
so
hopefully these are all chugging along. Hey, why was this is slightly apropos of nothing to do with this, but why did this is this now, oh gosh, this is now in there. Great.
Is this prototype?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, should be in there.
Okay, so we didn't get rid of the X sub 1 yet. Right, we're going to just say X in this case.
There's a lot of polishing happening as we speak.
Okay.
It's a very much quickly moving frontier.
Okay. Well, if we don't have more to, I mean, but something like haloing and contour labels, is that underway, or is that something we're going to have to push again?
It's something where we're gonna have to push a little bit, but it's something where
Okay, here's the
we
point.
sort of need to figure out haloing in all kinds of labels.
Okay, here's the point. There are things here which I think are broken. I want to make sure you're fixing them. There are things here which are extensions, nice to have extensions. Those things are lower priority. Can I be sure that you're fixing the things that we agree are broken? Yes?
I mean, they get weighted heavier, yes.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, no, no,
the
no,
things
no,
that are
no. That's
extensions
not.
don't necessarily get 0 weight either, though.
I
So
understand, but I'm saying I want to make sure we're getting these things fixed, so I don't have to go through all of them. So in this list of active things, I want to know which are not going to make it for 15.0.
I don't think we know yet.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
all right,
that's
fine. But by next time, maybe you can tell me which ones are making it and which ones are questionable.
okay.
Or which ones
I
are
mean, I'll
definite.
reorder that list according to priority likelihood type ranking.
Okay,
So
what does staging mean?
staging are things that we've, are in the thinking about stage. No code is being written yet. Or some of them are things
Okay,
that
this one I think is important.
yes. And it's on GPL. It's
Right. Hey, by the way, one small thing. In the editable to true graph thing, can we please get a review with UX and the front end team? There are a number of things like whether Command Z works on it and stuff like this that we should iron out. Make
the
sense?
what graph part?
The very beautiful new thing where you can say graph,
No, editable goes to true. I missed the words ran together a little bit for me, and
Right.
I didn't catch it.
Is there a project manager here that makes that happen, or what?
Wait a minute.
Who
This
who
is
I
did
mean,
this?
wrong.
Who did?
Glory can definitely
What
add
just
stuff
happened here? That
to
was wrong.
UX.
Whatever what happened here is
Well, you're
obviously
talking to the
wrong.
wrong people, first of all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well. Okay. There's some UX issues here. They're minor, but they need to be fixed.
But
the most important thing is that the basic functionality works, which is wonderful. But how far you have to click and all that kind of thing needs to be resolved. Fair? So I don't know who's here. Is Glory here?
Yes, I'm here.
So can you please communicate that to whoever is the relevant project manager and get that in either a user assistance or UX design meeting, please?
Okay. Yes.
But first of all, people should talk about it without me. Okay, this is a separate thing which will need some big summit meeting to discuss. And
Yep.
that needs to be combined with the discussion about units in the front end.
Okay.
The chart style, plot style transition has finished or is still underway? Or
It's in proto. It's
okay, good,
working pretty well.
good.
Actually, if you want to bring up the open DocuTools and bring up the page titled Plot Style New.
I need to go in a second, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I can just get like your 2-minute opinion on
Plot
layout
style
and
new.
plot
Yeah.
style new.
Temporary page.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Right. I mean, and so this is plot style, and like it covers like everything. So you've got all the 2D stuff, all the 3D stuff. I'm wondering whether those tables should be pushed down a little bit more so that the association syntax is above them, or
I'm not sure, but I think you could make something here. There's no point in saying, these words are not very useful. You could make this more of a, just an array that uses, that just names these things here.
so just a 2-column thing and include more of the.
But I think a double 2-column or something,
Okay.
potentially.
Double 2-column, and don't bother trying to write descriptions for things that are kind of obvious.
Yes, none of these are not. I mean, okay, cap form and join form, not totally obvious, but you get the idea when you see those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, how are we doing on gallery pages for documentation in general? Because this is something that should be on a gallery page. How are we doing on gallery pages?
I have no idea.
I
Who's
haven't heard
working on
anything
that?
about them concrete recently.
Oh,
So
gosh. Well, then maybe Eric W. Somebody needed Glory. Can you please raise it with him? See what's going on with those.
Yes.
And I need to run off.
Okay.
So, see you all soon.
see ya.
Bye for now.